G'day Bomber fans, it has been an eventful week. News obviously broke of a look into our brand through focus groups, research and stakeholder opinions. Members, club officials, players, they've all been and will continue to be asked about the Essendon brand, specifically the logo and whether or not it needs a change. Today I will talk about that, whether I think it needs a change or not. Before I start though, a quick word from Manscaped. Bomber fans, you know how much I love Manscaped. It's one of the very best ways to get your body in shape, your nuts nice and smooth, your odors less odorous, and with my discount code you can save 20% off plus free shipping. Just head over to manscaped.com, enter in the product code everything Essendon20 and you will save 20% plus free shipping. Now onto the video. I just want to say before I spill, whatever I say is just my opinion. Whatever you guys say in the comments is your opinion. Neither of us are right or wrong. It's impossible to be right or wrong when talking about what essentially is a piece of art. It's a design, a drawing. So be respectful to each other in the comments and in the community. Some want it changed, some don't. No need to get hostile over it. So Sam Edmund broke news of a potential brand change on Monday, I think, which sent the footy world, specifically the Essendon fan base, into a frenzy. It was a short and sharp little article that gave no information really, but after it seemed that everybody began picking their own narratives. People were speaking of a name change, despite Edmund saying there was no reason to believe there would be one. People started speaking of a footy world becoming too woke, despite there being no reasons given for the change. This is what forced Essendon President Dave Barham, the best no-nonsense operator in the business, to release his own statement, clearing things up because it was a mess for a day or two there. Every new article and opinion changed the narrative even more. Barham cleared the air by saying, he reiterates the fact that this research project is in its early phase. There is no immediate action being taken. It's a long-term possible project, one that will be worked with fans, members, stakeholders. And he goes on to say, we proudly recognise that our future legacy begins with our proud history. We will always be called the Bombers. Feel free to pause and read that. There has been a lot of news that is less than credible, and as you can see here, nothing about the Bomber name is changing anytime soon. We have been the Bombers since the Second World War due to our location near the Essendon airport, and it's stuck since. It's one of the longest names and, coincidentally, speaking of, one of the oldest logos in the league. I think only St Kilda have a logo older than ours, and you can tell it's a good logo, but it's not like the newer ones. There are some fancy around the joint now, and that is what I believe is the thought process behind this change. I've seen a few comments about the digital age being a big reason for the possible change. All 18 teams, bar 2, have changed their logo since the year 2000, the 2 being us and St Kilda. 14 teams have changed their logo since 2010. This is just happening. Teams shift their brand around on the run to appeal to new fans, new supporters of the club. And for those talking about the jet, the bomber on the logo being replaced, which there is no indication that it will be yet, just look at logos like Melbourne and Port Adelaide. Neither have any mention or imagery to do with their mascot, but we still call them the Demons. We still call them the Power. There has been lots of criticism, fans saying they will hand in their membership if the logo changes, but really, I think we are a bit behind the times. Pretty much every team has changed their logo at least once. Some clubs 2 to 3 times since we brought our current one in. And another thing, I would understand if this was our logo since the 40s or 50s like our name, but it's from the 1990s. It's not a huge part of our history. We've only won one flag, I think, since we introduced it. It's a good logo. I love seeing it. It's weird how a plane can bring a smile to your face, but there are things I find more in tune with our club's culture and history that I don't see on the logo. When I think of Essendon, I don't think of the Bombers or a bloody mosquito. I think of the red sash, the famous red sash. It was one of our first club names, the Sash Wearers, I believe, or something along those lines, and I personally wouldn't mind change if it involved the sash or something like that. I am personally down for a change. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I think there are ways we could introduce a new logo that speaks more to our history as a club. I will highlight Melbourne's current logo, because if you look at the one they had in the mid-2000s, it's pretty gnarly, to be honest, and the one they had a few years for in the 2010s, that was a cluttered mess, but they simplified it, they added a modern look to the classic monogram, and it looks good. There were no complaints with that, no one was too fussed. That's what I think we might try to go for, not the exact design, but taking a step back to our prized past with a new logo. I should say I am a younger fan. I was born in the 21st century. I've only ever known this current logo and have never really seen footy before the modern era, so this might make my opinion a bit out of touch. I understand that, and I understand that most people don't want it changed, and if that's the case, if the majority of the fan base wants it to stay, then I think it should stay, but my personal take is go for it. Change the logo as long as it's good and it implements parts of our history we want to stay with us forever, like the red sash. I did a poll the other day, quite a few of you voted, well, over 200 votes, and as you can see, most people don't want it changed. Fair enough, it's a cool logo, everyone has their own opinion, no one is right or wrong, it's a piece of art, some like the logo, some don't. You aren't right or wrong for liking a drawing, so like I said earlier, be kind to each other when discussing this, it's just an opinion either way. And I will save this little talk till the very end because it's probably the touchiest subject. There are of course talks about the logo being changed due to sensitivity reasons, which I don't even think has been 100% properly confirmed. I would have thought if it was for sensitivity reasons, the name would be at risk as well, which it is not, but if it is, and the footy club is trying to appeal to those who, I guess, can't support a club with very loose links to war, being as respectful as can possibly be about this because it's a touchy subject, I think it's hard to appeal to everybody with mascots. You have direct links to religion with one team and you have club songs that are rooted in racism with another. There are so many aspects of footy clubs which are thrown into the spotlight more and more as we progress as a society and find new wrongs to right. I don't know if this is necessarily one of them though. Again, this is coming from a man living in the city. I would love for someone who has experienced war in some way, shape or form to comment below, because this is the first time I've heard of the Bombers being a possible way to offend. That is just what I think though. But to reiterate, the logo may be changing at some stage in the future. Whether it features the plane or jet is unknown. The name is not changing anytime soon. This is really just to modernize things a bit. That's how I see it, at least. I could be wrong, of course. I'm just a fan. But that's that. Quick video. Like, subscribe, and go Bombers.